So this is the fun part. This is the part that every resin artist wants to get to and enjoys the most. I can put my hand on my heart and say, this is the bit. This is what I love doing. Hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Now in this video, I'm going to be making a really bright, colourful tray that hopefully will give joy to your hearts in these dark winter days. Oh, I can't wait for spring. I'm also going to make some cells. I'm going to put cells on the top without using any oil. So I'll show you how I do that. And when flood coating, I'm going to show you how I flood coat an item without getting that annoying lip around the outside edge. So yeah, let's see flood coating cells and beautiful colours. So this is the mould that I'm using. It's an Estoyo rippled edge, kind of geode mould. It's quite large. And I have some white left over from another project, which I'm just going to use as a base for this one. I don't like wasting resin, and as I had the tray mould handy and I was going to put white in it anyway, I decided just to throw it in there. It was mixed about 20-25 minutes prior to this, so it is quite thick, and there's also some foreign body in there too, which I had to get out. I have no idea what that was, but it's out now, thank goodness. And I'm not going to leave this to cure, I'm just going to set it aside for about an hour. That's it. And then I can move on. For this project, I'm using Estoyo resin. It's a medium viscosity 1:1 resin. And I have a rather nice 15% discount code in the description box below. I'm also using some colours from this little piggy. These are extremely vibrant colours, and I really am looking for a bright coloured piece. This red is one of the best mica reds I've found. It has a very, very slight orangey tint, but it's so slight and it's extremely vibrant. Definitely one I recommend. I do apologise if you can hear any work going on in the background. There is a jackhammer outside digging up the road and there's not much I can do about it, so forgive me for that. Hopefully it won't cause too much disruption. This pink is extremely bright, but when the resin is added, it's quite translucent. I'm also using Vista Black pigment, which is my go-to black. I'm not affiliated with Vista or this little piggy, but the links will be in the description box below. And a Vista white pigment for the main white base. The Vista pigments, the white and the black, are both opaque. So this is the fun part. This is the part that every resin artist wants to get to and enjoys the most. I can put my hand on my heart and say, this is the bit. This is what I love doing. The messy bit. Pouring colours. So I've poured out a white layer for the base. So this is on top of the previous thin white layer that had been sitting there for about an hour, so they will mix together, so that actually makes quite a deep white layer. I then start adding colours. Now this is going to be completely random, and to start with I'm using a lolly stick with the black. I really don't need to do that, I should have just poured it, but black and white do have a tendency to take over everything else. I wanted to use white so that I get vibrant colours. If I'd used black, you probably would not have seen these colours at all. But I do want a predominantly bright piece, so I'm adding stripes of colour throughout this. Now I did go on and pour quite a lot of colour in the centre. This isn't going to stay. Everything I'm putting on here is going to merge together. these resins have not sat, apart from the first original thin base, everything else has just been mixed, so they are going to mix together. As resin just does what resin does, I'm literally just adding colour all over the place, and I know that the end result is not going to represent what I've put down here, but I'm just having fun. I use isopropyl alcohol to get the cells. Isopropyl alcohol breaks the surface tension, and as it breaks the surface tension, it reveals colours that are just underneath the surface. So you get the cells coming through with the dots of the isopropyl alcohol. Now I use isopropyl alcohol on the top of resin when I've poured it a lot. I mean, it's my go-to method rather than a heat gun, because I know that it works and you can walk away pretty safe that any bubbles that come to the surface will pop. When it comes to something like this, you really have to overdo it with the alcohol. You have to keep spraying it as it's curing. It will leave the surface pitted, but that's the price that you pay for getting the cells that you're after. As the time goes on, I add more and more colour. You can see the resin is merging and is curing, so I just keep adding more colour over a period of about half an hour, spraying it with isopropyl alcohol to keep getting those cells. Again, they will merge and they will spread out. The trick is to not give up on it. Pay attention to where it's going, what it's doing. Keep an eye on this piece, even if it's for an hour. And I do spray it a lot. As this piece is quite deep now, the colours are going to sink into each other. They are going to disappear under the surface. So keep a little bit of each colour back to add it onto the top. At this point, I know that everything is going to merge to the middle. Resin cures directly to the middle. So even though I poured that massive amount of colour in the middle, it's not necessarily going to stay like this. Now I do babysit this tray for the next hour or so, and I spray it occasionally with the alcohol just to make sure I keep the cells. So the following day, it's been roughly 18 hours since I poured this, and you can see it has muted the colours slightly, but there are some beautiful colours in here, and the pink seems to have come through the absolute best in my opinion. So I'm going to demold it and have a look at the back. Now the back, like I said, is not the main feature of this resin, but it is fascinating to see how it comes through on the back. It comes out of the mould cleanly, and that is nice. You can see the pitted area on the front from the isopropyl alcohol, and the back is quite mottled and quite bizarre, and I love it. Not that it makes any difference. So now I'm going to move on to the edge, and to do that I'm going to use wet dry sanding paper, and I don't have any 400 grit left, so I'm using 320. If you go any lower than 320 you risk really ripping the resin away. So 320 is the lowest I would go. I would prefer 400. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sand each side of this tray on the edges. I need to make these edges slightly rounded so that the resin that I pour over the top with my flood coat will flood over the edge. And because I don't want that horrible lip, I'm going to sand both sides. If you get the resin flowing over and under the edge, you won't get that knobbly lip. Now I couldn't find a picture of the knobbly lip that I'm talking about, so I'm going to do a drawing. And I'm going to add this into the video so that you know what I'm talking about. I did actually consider making a piece with the bobbly lip so that you know what I was talking about, but I ran out of time sadly, so a picture will have to do. So for the next half an hour, I spent sanding down the edges to get them rounded. Now I did actually think at this point I should have used a easier edge to demonstrate this, but this is the tray I've picked, so I'm going for it. I sand both edges, and I actually do use a deburring tool to help make the process a lot quicker. Both edges are completely rounded. I've got my nice round edge where the resin will flow over. But because it's going to flow over, it will make a lot of drips on the back. And you don't want a bubbly back. And as this resin has only been cured for about 18 hours, you can see that the heat from my hands has melted it slightly and it is now quite soft. So I'm just going to put it to one side and let it cool down. So we need to protect the back. Now a lot of people use tape, some people use PVA glue, and they all work. I prefer using liquid latex. I have it, so I use it, and I do find that it dries really quickly. So for me, it's the better option, especially when you've got a tray with all these bobbly edges. Tape would be ideal if it was a flat edge, for instance. PVA glue I'm not so keen on, only because I find it takes forever to dry. In the flood coat, I'm going to add a tiny amount of Galaxy. This is one of Emma's, the Tiny Termas pigments.
Ooh.
And it's always best to pick up the cut from the bottom,
Ooh.
not the top, because this happens. That's what you get for not paying attention to where your hands are on the cup. Anyway, I'm adding the tiny amount of Galaxy. This will just give it a glittery glow. You won't see it much in the final piece, but it will every now and again flicker, and I love that. And now I'm just going to flood coat this piece, and you can see it going over the edges and underneath the back, and that's going to stop that annoying lip. It's fascinating to watch this process, in my opinion. I love watching it. Now I am going to help this process with a spatula. I'm just going to guide it up to the edge and over the edge a little. You don't have to do that. I mean, the gravity will take it and it will go over the edge. But I always find that if you give it a little bit of a helping hand, it helps me to know that I haven't missed anything. Flood coating can be quite wasteful, but you can always use the drips that have come off in another project. You can save them. Once they're cured, they will be usable in a different project. So that's something to consider. I make sure I go right the way around the outside of this tray, and I try not to miss anything. I just want to say a quick hello and welcome to all my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed already, maybe you would consider doing so. It does not cost a thing. You don't have to be a member of YouTube, and it does help my channel out. And a thumbs up is always really appreciated. That will show YouTube that you like my content, and it will help others to see it. And I'd spray it with isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any bubbles. I then let it sit and drip and do its thing, and I should get a really clean edge on this piece. The drips are definitely going under the lip and dripping from the back. "24 hours later, and I can remove the backing. Now, liquid latex is really strong stuff, and you need to get a little edge to start the peeling process. But anything that is on top of the liquid latex, as long as you've gone up to the edge with the latex, will come away, because the latex has created a barrier between the back and the drips. It may need a little prising up with a tool or a pair of pliers. Try not to scratch the back itself, although it is the back, but they do just pop off because they're sitting on top of the latex, and the latex has done its job. And I go round the entire tray, just lifting off the drips. And again, you can save the drips because they're little pieces of resin. If you pop them in a cup, you could always put them into another project. Another little tip to help you save the pennies. Now I thought I'd keep the last bit in for you. That was so satisfying. So my tray is finished. My edge that I've kept clean so that you can see it. A lot of people will colour their edges, which is absolutely fine, and I did consider it, but I wanted you to see how clean it can be without colouring the edges. There is no lip whatsoever, and as long as you've sanded evenly, that's what the finished article will be, even. The cells were beautiful. Some of them were absolutely stunning, and the variety of colours in here, considering I only used 3 main colours, is amazing. And every now and then you get a little twinkle from the galaxy in the top coat. I absolutely love this piece, and again I kept it basic so that you could see the colours. Some people add lines, some people add all sorts of decorations on this type of piece. I kept it basic just so that you could see what I was doing. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Come back and see me next week because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week, happy crafting, and bye for now.